Hello, cyberspace. It is Harrison, your favorite cyber bitch here. And I have with me tonight, I have Scooby331.
Hey, hey, hey.
And I have Nano Reaper.
Hey, what's up, people?
And hopefully soon Burnside will join us. He's talking to someone. And I'll let him bring it up if he wants to. Someone decided to contact him today, and no, it doesn't have to do with the drama of a few weeks ago. But it was just like, son of a bitch, when it rains, it fucking pours.
You guys' personal life is almost like a country song. It's not even funny.
Oh, goodness.
I mean, except for Scooby. Scooby's like the Thin Lizzy rock star song left over from New York when they actually made rock that didn't suck.
Yeah.
Before auto-tune.
Yeah, I remember. My God, it's so sad to think I actually can remember good music. Like I was alive during the eras of good music. And
well, I remember when bands actually would play their own instruments.
Yeah.
On stage, like not just in the studio, or have studio musicians come in. You know, I remember when they would actually record their own. They didn't use studio musicians unless it was like for like a specialty instrument that was not normally in the band.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when they would actually, be plugged in, play on stage, not lip sync. And the sad thing is, if you go to see those older bands in concert today, like AC/DC, let's say, the Rolling Stones, Ozzy. Well, when was the last time Ozzy toured? Last time I saw Ozzy tour, he promised he was not going to tour anymore.
No, he's gone back on tour.
Yeah, I know. And that
Ever
was
since he got off all that medication that was fucking him up.
Well, yeah, but he did the No More Tours tour before he did Ozfest. And I mean, and I also remember seeing Stevie Ray Vaughan's last live show in Austin.
Wow.
When I was not old enough, I was in junior high school, but my uncle worked for the bar, and he got me in to see him, and yeah. So, I mean, I remember that era of music, and what they have today, when you're watching these people and you look at them and you see their music video, and it's all high dollar and stuff. They're lip syncing on stage and their instruments are not even plugged in.
Yeah.
I mean,
they don't even put in the effort anymore.
I mean, I remember watching Kiss, which probably has one of the best stage shows of anybody. I remember seeing time I saw Kiss, and I was watching it was Gene Simmons almost tripping over a chord that was actually going to someone else's guitar out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you don't have that anymore. They don't even pretend. It's that shit even plugged in? No.
Yeah. I seen them. Where the hell did I see them? I seen them at Jones Beach about, oh God, got to be at least 20 years ago now. It was one of their farewell tours.
Yeah, one of their farewell tours and they kept touring for another 15 years.
Yeah, seriously.
They
were good.
I mean, just speaking of Kiss memorabilia, and I'm not a huge Kiss fan, but they now have a vault that they will sell you. It has a couple of pricing levels. For $50,000, Gene Simmons will come install the vault in your house himself. Well, he'll have workmen do that, and he'll take you to dinner.
Cool.
You got to be a hell of a Kiss fan. And it's got all of their unreleased tracks that they've ever done. So we're talking 1,100 tracks on CD and on vinyl.
That's insane.
Hey, for 50 grand to get it actually installed in your house and Gene Simmons takes you to dinner? I mean, he better be paying after he shell out 50 grand for fucking like, and it's literally a safe.
But then he just takes you to McDonald's.
I'm pretty sure he takes you to a 4-star or 5-star restaurant. I mean, you did
I don't think we have those in my town.
Well, you know,
in your case, he goes to Taco Bell.
I forget where it was, but it was years ago. And I actually was, oh God, what store was it? I can't remember for the life of me. I want to say the Roosevelt Field Mall. It could have been there. It most likely was there. It might have been a Smith Haven Mall. I'm not sure. Or it could have been it could have even been a department store, like one of the specialty stores. Anyway, it was during the holiday season. And I wound up talking to somebody online briefly for a few minutes. It turned out to be Gene Simmons. I didn't even know it was him because you know what it was? He was done up really nice. And it was at the time when he first started like becoming more in the public eye again with his business suits and everything. So I hadn't seen him doing any public appearances. Oh God, I must have been a teenager. So maybe the last time was when they were promoting Animal, when he was doing like the no makeup tour.
Yeah.
And so, because I think he lives over in Dix Hills, right by me, or he did. I think he lives in Cali now. I'm not sure, but he is originally from the area. And I didn't know. My sister said to me afterwards, she's like, "Was that Gene Simmons you were talking to?" I said, "Where?" And she said, "Online." I said, "You're fucking kidding me." She said, "No, the guy in the nice suit." I said, "You know, it could have been. We got a lot of them around this neighborhood." I remember when I was really young. I went with my older brother. It was my older brother. Because he was home on leave. And we went over to Jones Beach, and the Stray Cats were performing. I'm pretty sure there was a few other bands that were playing, but I remember the Stray Cats because they're local. They're from Massapequa. And I was there, and I'll never forget it. I'm at the urinal, and I got stuck, like pinned at the urinal because these two Mexican guys got into a knife fight. And that was actually the concert that they took away beer and liquor at Jones Beach. Because these two guys were, they were drunk and they got into this really bad brawl in the middle of the bathroom. I don't remember how the hell I got out of there, but I got out of there, obviously. But, it's just such a shame because the music scene used to be awesome here. Like, really, like, holy shit.
What was that famous? It was famous, there's a famous live music venue. BCGC? Old Punk Club.
CBGB's. I worked the door there 2 times, maybe 3, as a favor to somebody because, I used to be a really big guy when I was younger. And I was working the door, local around by like mostly clubs like on Long Island and Queens. And I never liked clubs in Manhattan. I hated working them because you get all sorts of screwballs from all over the planet.
Because it's tourist trap.
Right. But this guy called me up. He's like, "Scoob, I got a favor. You're a big guy. They're short muscled. They need somebody big at the door. Can you go in and do this for me? Well, I'll owe you big time." So I was hesitant, because, I was into the punk rock scene for years myself, but that's a whole different level. That's the people that live that shit 24/7. So I forget who the hell played, but I thought it was horrible music. Fucking horrible. Crowd loved it though. But yeah, it's like any other place in any other city. It's just because it's New York, it gets a lot of hype.
Like what was that? What was that famous disco? Studio 54?
Yeah, that's before my time. That closed down when I was a kid.
Well, yeah, it was before my time too. But I mean, like I said, disco. I think we're slightly after the disco era.
When I was a kid, disco was really big in New York until about maybe 84, 85. And I remember when I was a kid, like, oh my God, my brother used to go to the discotheques, and he used to wear like the suits, like with the sequins
and the oversized collars.
Oh yeah, with the feather earrings and the really big pompadour hair, and
the platform shoes.
Yeah, with the shark skin pants. The whole suit was shark skin. and it had the big pointed collared shirt that stuck out past the lapels. That was the style at the time. It was all the chains with the collar open, those tie. I remember it very well. And, I remember a lot of people, like, when I would talk to them from other parts of the country, they would get on me for that. I used to tell them, it's our culture over here. Everyone from this part of the country, we're all from the Mediterranean, and we're really big into dance. And it was a good scene. And I remember when I was a little boy, I was very, very little when disco started to die out, and it started to get replaced with hip hop. And when I was a kid, up until I was in junior high, that was the era of everyone wearing the tracksuits and the Kangols and walking around with a boombox. I actually used to dress like that when I was a kid. I had the red Billie Jean jacket and everything.
You're dressing out like, who was that? That character in The Sopranos that always wore a tracksuit.
I know which one you talked about. Paulie.
Yeah.
Paulie and Christopher, those two. Yeah. No, more like actually LL Cool J. I used to dress like that when I was a kid.
Oh, with the Kanga cap? The casket hat?
Yep, with the Kangol hat and the Adidas shoes that matched the tracksuit. Yeah, I used to dress like that constantly with the leather jacket. Everyone did.
Yeah, now the only people that wear tracksuits are Russian mobsters.
Yeah, seriously.
And let's see. I mean, let's see. I've never been to New York City, so I do want to go at least once. Once you get sensible carry laws, because I do want to see the Triangle.
That'll never happen.
Well, all we need is national reciprocity pushed through. Then Kumo can go suck a big barrel of dicks because there won't be nothing he can do about it. But no, I'm a big fan of, say, I'd like to see the Triangle building. What is it, the Flatiron building, actually? The one that's on Times Square that's a triangle.
Yep.
And I'd like to go to the Carnegie Deli. Just because, I mean, I know that's touristy as fuck, but, I'm sure
that's fine.
I want to go see Broadway, and preferably a Broadway play, but my luck, nothing good I want to see is going to be there.
Oh, no,
Everything's there.
There'll only be like My Little Ponies, the musical, the time you go to New York.
I've seen every single Disney play on Broadway, and I've seen Cabaret, seen Les Miserables. What the fuck else did I see? I didn't see Cats. That's the one thing I'm annoyed with myself. It was just one of those things.
I didn't get to see Cats even when they came here. And I didn't get to see Rent either.
I was about to say Rent's the other one that everybody talks about.
My favorite was Stomp.
I would have loved to have been able to see Andrew Lloyd Webber's Phantom of the Opera when what's her name? Sarah Brightman was playing the main character.
I don't remember who was in it when I seen it. What else did I see? Christmas Carol, a bunch of times. Rockettes, a bunch of times. What else did I see? I don't know. I think I pretty much seen everything but Cats.
And did you see The Lion King?
Mm-hmm. I seen The Little Mermaid, seen Aladdin, The Lion King, Beauty and the Beast. What the fuck else did they do? Mary Poppins.
Star Trek the musical. No, that's a joke. That's never been done. I actually looked that up. Macbeth, Hamlet, all those other ones.
Yeah, I would take my sister's kids to go see all those Disney ones. Yeah. No, I'm not the type of person that's going to go and sit through any Disney thing. I don't care how nice looking the broad is sitting next to me. The other ones, though, the adult plays, it was usually because, everyone else is looking over at the stage, and I'm checking out the balcony on the one next to me. You can recite Shakespeare off of that. But, that's usually why I was going to these plays, it was a girl in a theater class. I actually, I used to how do I put this politely? I used to romp with a girl who was a performance artist or whatever the hell they call them. She was in the theater troupe, and she actually was in a couple of these, plays when they were off Broadway by a couple of blocks. That's when I seen a lot of them, like when the productions weren't on Broadway, when they like moved that off of Broadway. So it was when they didn't have the big stars at the time, and this girl was in a lot of these plays. So yeah, I went to go see him. And actresses, that's all I'm gonna say. Oh yeah, good times. You guys want to come to New York? I'll definitely show you around, and obviously I'm not going to charge anything. Well, except if I'm showing you, you're buying lunch. That's my fee.
I'm pretty sure you could find a better hole-in-the-wall deli than Katz's.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, Katz's is probably like one of those touristy places because everybody knows about it. But I imagine somewhere where they have traditional Jewish music and guys with yarmulkes actually cutting the pastrami, probably have a lot better sandwich.
Katz's and the Carnegie both actually have probably the best. They're like in competition for the best sandwich in Manhattan. But I don't go into Manhattan for shit. I stay on the Big Island, Long Island. So I just go to Brooklyn. You know? You get a sandwich there that could stop a bullet.
It probably costs a considerable bit less, too.
Mm-hmm. Because you're paying for the ambiance on that fucking island. That's why I don't go to Manhattan.
You mean you're paying for because tourists are willing to just shell out $17 for a cola?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would want to go because isn't that where the Empire State Building is?
Yeah, I've been on it a bunch of times.
Yeah, I want to go on something that tall. And I'll go to the edge and look over, the best that I can and everything. But I'm glad that they put up that fucking fence.
Yeah.
That's to keep idiots from throwing fucking, off the...
pennies?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was I going to say to you? The other thing is, if you guys go, you got to realize Manhattan is not by foot, it's big. But by car, it's not that big. It's not a big island. It's just built up. You don't want to eat in Manhattan. You're better off not even eating in any of the boroughs. You want to go to the outer boroughs. You want to go to Long Island because the Board of Health is much better. Out of anywhere in the Northeast that I would eat, I'm not trying to have a bias. I would eat on Long Island because New Jersey, you don't want to eat in New Jersey. You do not want to eat within New York City. Take my word for it. Seriously. You call up and say, okay, I found a severed foreskin in my sandwich. Okay, what's the name of the restaurant? Such and such on such and such and such and such. Okay, we'll be there in 5 years. That's how backed up they are. Even if you tell them you found something like that. It's that severe. You do not want to eat in Manhattan. The Board of Health never shows up. They just can't. It's too backed up with complaints. They're still covering shit from like 5-10 years ago. I tell that to people constantly. I have not eaten in Manhattan, I think, in at least a good 10 years. It's nearly impossible to find a place that has clean food. You just don't want to eat there. I hate telling that to people, but you get better food out on the island anyway. Seriously.
Yeah, I mean, Manhattan is Manhattan. It's tourist trap.
Mm-hmm. It's too small, it's too crowded, and it's overdone. I tell my wife all the time because she's constantly trying to I'm like, nah, I'll wait till I get home. 2 places I'll never eat in New York is New York City itself or a diner anywhere. I won't eat in a diner ever. I don't eat at a place.
Here aren't that bad.
I will not eat at some place where I cannot sue the owner. Around here, the minute something happens, these assholes shut up shop for 30 days, and they go back to Greece, and one of their cousins opens it up again. No. Not happening. Every diner out here, they do that. I'm not trying to, oh, hey, Scooby, you're making fun of Greek people, asshole. I live here. I watch them do it. It's literally how they do things. Sorry, I don't mean to chew in your ear.
It's okay. We have 2 people watching, and one of them is me. So we have 1 person watching.
I think the other one's me. But I can see if there's anything going on in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's dead. Then again, we're up against the cunt stream and probably Tom's bubble.
Yeah. Did you even show?
Yeah, I shilled.
All right.
I mean, it's the cunt stream. That's those people are just usually.
Oh, well, they got their thing going on. And they have a big viewership. They've been doing this for a few years now, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least I think so. I just recently heard about it, so when you were like, I'm going on the cunt stream, I'm like, what the fuck is the cunt stream?
Yeah, you know what it was? It was, my thing is this. I don't look at people's subscriber things or whatever. I watch somebody, if I think that they're entertaining, I'll hit them up like, yo, you want to chill? That's just my nature. And I was watching them, and I'm watching them, and I'm seeing their show, and I'm like, okay, cool. These guys, they're streaming in the middle of the day. This looks interesting. Let me check them out. And I turn it on, and it's the most dull shit I'd ever seen. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So I first said in their chat to them, I'm like, yo, you guys really got to, you put me to sleep. This is horrible. And I said to Schmeckel, I'm like, yo, you put me on your show, and in 6 months, I'll double your viewership. And so he hit me back, and he's like, you saying that you want a spot? And I'm like, nah, I'm just saying, if you let me on for like, I don't know, a half hour at a time and just, talk to me for a few minutes, people will start tuning in. I said, because, your show's really boring, bro, and you got viewers as it is, so if they're tuning in to watch your dull shit, can you imagine if I liven it up? And I started going on the air with them. And the thing was, it was just because it was fun. I usually talk politics with you guys, or I talk religion or whatever. And these guys were just joking and having a good time, but they were actually, like, funny. They weren't just morons, They actually were entertaining, is my point. I had a good time with them. And, it's annoying that all these other assholes, started all this garbage and dragged these guys into it, because I had good times with them. But it is what it is. People, they got to ruin everyone else's fun, because, I've noticed that if somebody is boring, they'll piss in the punch and screw everyone else's good time because they're a dullard. That's just how it goes.
Because everyone seems to want to drag everyone else down to their level of misery.
Yeah, because misery loves company.
Yeah, and they can't stand.
It's the truth, unfortunately.
And they can't stand to see people happy.
Yeah, I know. It's just one of those things, and it gets under my skin. It's what it is. I just.
Oh, we have Jean-Pierre in the chat, and we have W.R. Croston.
Oh, hey, what's up, guys? How is everybody? But you know what it is. I guess because a lot of these guys are younger, and I'm gonna be 40 next year. I got no interest in arguing with people, and I got no interest in drama. Is what it is.
Well, I'm not really interested in the internet blood sports, because yelling at someone at the top of their lungs doesn't actually prove a point.
Yeah. I mean, it's obvious. Anyone who gets me pissed off, they can hear me yell. I have no problem doing that. But the thing of it is, a lot of
Chaotically says Scooby versus AP on the Kumite Extreme Death Match.
Let me see. Let me look in the chat here. Cute. I don't really have a problem with him with AP. I'll talk to the guy. If anything, look, it is what it is. I'll talk to him. I told him that. You don't want to talk to me, so whatever.
And I'm
I
not.
could be.
I wouldn't go on to something like the Kumite where it's basically set up for basically a dogpile shitfest.
Yeah, they're gonna be really disappointed because if I'm not angry at somebody, you're gonna sit there and yell and make yourself look like an idiot because I'm not gonna yell back. You're not gonna get a rise out of me if I'm not angry. Like this is the thing. Like when I was on the con stream, I wasn't really angry. That was just pissed. I'll be pissed and I'll raise my voice, but I mean I don't know. I've people want vitriol. I'm not the guy you want to get vitriol out of just because it's not my thing. It's not really. I'm not gonna sit there and get like a maniac all the time and yell all the time, whatever. I'm just gonna get disgusted and bored. Or just fuck it. I don't care. I didn't come on here looking to do this internet blood sports or argue with people or anything. I don't. That's a thing with these younger guys. They all like to argue or whatever. I prefer to debate. If someone wants to talk, yeah, I got no problem sitting there talking with them, but I don't want to sit there and scream and yell. What the fuck I want to do that for? You hear the accent. It's obvious. I deal with that all day. I don't need to get on here and do, manufactured anger. I can get that shit out in the street, May he rest in peace, the comedian Richard Jenny. He gave a motto. We all said we should have adopted it. New York, the what the fuck are you looking at state? And it's basically true. That is kind of like the demeanor here. And that's the thing is I got some people told me, "Oh, you're an edgelord." I didn't even know what the fuck that was. I had to ask somebody. And they told me, they're like, "Yeah, well, an edgelord." They say something, I said, "Oh, you mean like how they used to call Howard Stern a shock jock?" They go, "Yeah. I'm not trying to be edgy. This is reality."
You're not trying to be Howard Stern or Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah, I'm not an edgelord. I'm not trying to be edgy. I'm not I'm not trying to impress nobody. This is, I talk about the shit that I dealt with in life. Look, I worked security at some clubs when I was younger. My father came from, a part of the neighborhood that was connected back in the day. He knew a bunch of connected guys, a lot of them. He himself, he was an honest man. It was just, it's part of the course. So look where the fuck I am on the map. That's why I get people like, "Oh, Scooby, can you prove it?" Really? The accent and the way I look doesn't prove it enough. I mean, what the fuck? I shouldn't have to sit here. If I said I was a greengrocer, I would have to prove it. But no, the fact that actually I was a bigger guy, and instead of being a drunken druggie, I decided when I hang out in the bar, I'll get paid for it. So,
You get paid to put up with other people's stupid shit.
Yeah, and it makes you feel good, honestly. When you see a guy and he's sitting there and he's trying to have a good time and he's talking to a broad, and then all of a sudden this guy who's a little bit bigger than him comes in and decides, "Okay, I'm going to pick on this pipsqueak." Why? What do you got to make yourself feel better about? You know what, asshole? Go play the pinball machine. Here's $5. Leave the guy alone. I never. That's part of the thing. I got annoyed when people are like, "You're saying you're a bully. You're this." I'm not a bully. I try to operate to a certain degree and a certain standard, and I like to be around people who are also that way. I mean, let's be honest. No one wants to really kick it with a pack of shitbirds. You want to be with a bunch of people that are on point, that got their shit together. I think I'm a very patient person. I think I'm a very forgiving person. But there comes to a point in everyone's life where, you have to realize you're not the center of the universe and the world doesn't revolve around you. Everything was spinning along fine before you came, and it's going to be spinning along fine after you're gone. And that's the fact of life you have to deal with. People are worried about making their mark. How about you just make it where you can go through life, not be a burden to others, and maybe actually uplift a few people? The trick with life is the way you win it, you do better for others than they've done for you. You try to be a better person. Not because you're better than other people. You try to be better than the people that are around you. You try to do better because maybe you can lead by example. That's just the way I look at it, And the past week or two, I've seen so much selfishness and so much narcissism and so much me, me, me. You know, it's just that's the thing is I don't want to deal with people of that caliber. I don't want to deal with people who are just like it's all about me. It's I'm the you know it's me. I put in sacrifice. I put in time. I put in work. I put everyone puts in sacrifice. Everyone puts in time. Everyone puts in work. Nothing is deserved. What you get is what you earn. You know, you got to make what comes to you. And, you know, that's the thing. I understand a lot of people, like, they put in whatever amount of effort with YouTube, and I can respect that. But seriously, it's fucking YouTube.
Yeah.
Google could decide at the end of this fiscal quarter, they're just going to shut YouTube down because they don't want to deal with the bullshit anymore. What happened to all the time and effort you put in then? You know, I myself am not a particularly religious person, but you know, the Buddhists got a good point when they say, you know, shit is temporary. Seriously, everything's temporary. You can't get focused and fixated on anything. You know, that's one of the reasons, you know, people say to me, oh, you're apathetic. No, it's just, I know nothing is going to last forever. Even the pyramids are going to dissolve at one point. It's just the way of the world.
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the points is it's YouTube. I mean, if you're famous on YouTube, you're not really famous at all. You're a nobody. I don't care how many subs you have. You're fucking nobody because, and I mean, unless your sub count is into the millions, which really is not very many people, except for people that, especially people that are doing the internet blood sports. You're looking at 50K, maybe 100K. You know.
You know, you made me think of something when you said the internet blood sports. You know what? All these people with the blood sports, it's basically they want to be like what, a bunch of tough guys, right?
Yeah.
Well,
they want to be a bunch of tough guys and not actually go hit somebody.
well, I'll tell you what. I grew up around real tough guys. I mean, real fucking tough guys. And let me tell you something. Real tough guys, they have this thing, especially those of a certain persuasion. They have what they call a sit down. And what that means is, you know, you go and you sit down, and you try to hash shit out peaceably. And if the sit down if it doesn't work, usually that ends in bloodshed. But the sit down is the diplomacy that was at least attempted. So I tell people all the time, I'm not doing no internet blood sport. I don't feel like yelling at somebody, but I will do a sit down. I'll do a sit down. I'd rather talk to somebody. If I have a beef with somebody, I'd rather hash it out with class. You know, dignity.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like with a certain group of people, is the point is, if it breaks down to actually physical violence, which I think probably the biggest problem with this younger generation is they don't actually know what physical violence are. They think that physical violence is the little pushing matches they get into.
Yeah,
that's not physical violence. That's antisocial behavior. And the thing is like if you actually have come from a background, and my background's completely different from yours, but the idea is the last thing you want, violence is the last resort. You really want to sit down, hash it out, find something that will actually do, you know, that basically come to not actual violence. And I've never seen an argument on it. See, the problem with oh shit, basically the problem with these with people that want that they're like, oh, I'm gonna go is internet arguing. You never change anybody's mind. Nobody's gonna change anybody's mind.
Pretty much.
Sorry, I was reading the chat.
Oh, well, I stopped reading them fucking idiots anyway. But yes, especially since, you know, I'm not Falcon. And no, I'm talking about millennials. And Gen Z, because they're both a bunch of fucking pussies.
Yeah. You know, I mean, I was always told I was Generation Y, and all of a sudden we disappeared off of friggin' the radar. But, you know, I feel bad for a lot of these kids. I really do, because this detachment that they have from reality. Like, I only just started using the computer really a lot in the past couple months since I started streaming a lot more. And like, I would use it for things, and people would say to me, like, I talk to these guys on here, like, well, you don't go on the chan boards? No. You've never been on the chan boards? No. What about Reddit? No. How could you not go on Reddit? I don't know what the fuck these things are for. How could you not know what they're for? You know, I don't know what the hell goes on in other parts of the country, but over here, no one comes and knocks on the door and says, "Hi, are you familiar and brushed up on everything that's wonderful and wild on the internet today?" You know, that shit doesn't happen here. So I don't know half of the shit that's going on out there. So, like, whenever I catch wind of something, it's usually because it's someone says to me, "Scooby, how could you not have heard about this?" So I'll go and look this shit up. You know, but I'm very out of the loop on a lot of shit. I don't go on any of these chat boards or any of these different things. I don't look up nerdy shit like that. I'm very specific. Like, when I go on here to look at nerd shit, I'll go specifically to like stuff from my comic books when I used to read them before they all became SJW filth. Or I'll go to stuff from my RPGs, or I will go and look at Gundams, or my Japanese swords. That's the shit that basically I look at on here. And I don't usually deviate from like my course. So I'm literally not looking at anything else. I'm one of the most out of touch people like that. I'm like, it's not like I intentionally put myself in this bubble. It's just I have a really bad problem with apathy. I don't give a fuck about anything else. I'm concerned about my country, but other than that, I don't give a flying fuck about anything but my interests. So, you know, when people say to me, "How do you not know who this is? How do you know who that is? How do you not know who?" I don't go on Twitter. I hate Facebook. I don't like social media, so I don't follow any trends. I'm very out of touch like that, especially considering, you know, how young I am. You know, my joke is 39 going on 70, because I don't follow any of this shit. There are people who are in their 60s who are more in touch socially than I am. I just think that's kind of funny.
Yeah, well, I mean, there are people out there that are like they spend what is it, 8 to 10 hours a day sitting in front of a fucking computer.
I couldn't imagine that. I think if I spend maybe 8 hours a week, that's probably maximum. Like, I don't count YouTube, because I can watch YouTube on the television, and I'll, you know, I throw shit on in the background, like the news or whatever, like when I'm doing chores, or I'll take the phone with me. You know, I'll take our phone when I can actually get my hands on it when I'm at the store. I'll listen to like the news. Other than that, I don't go on YouTube and look for kitten videos. People will ask me like, "Do you know who this person is? And do you know who that person is?" And this person, I don't know who the fuck these people are. You know, like, forget who the hell it was. I streamed with this person, and then people told me afterwards, they're like, "Holy shit, you stream with that person?" I go, "Yes." Oh, and they're like, "You don't know who that is?" I go, "No, I talked to him. He seems like a nice guy." Then I had to look him up, and I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't know who the hell the person was. That's the thing, like, you know, and I say it to them, you know, I'll say it to them off the air, you know, "Look, I'm not trying to be a dick. I don't follow this shit. You know, I've been with my wife 16 years. You know, how long has YouTube been around? What, 12 years?
I fuck find out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I mean, there are some people, and they say to me, "Oh, I've been following Phil DeFranco since the beginning." And then you look at the person's Twitter feed, and they have something like, you know, 38,000 tweets and 500 followers. So, you know, I'm just looking at it, and you look at when they joined, and they like joined the week that Twitter opened. And that's like, you know, I had created a Facebook page, and I shut the thing down. I couldn't stand it when after a while with Facebook, because I'm getting all these notifications, and I look, and there's this one asshole that I was friends with, and I called him, and he's like, "I'm in a meeting." I'm like, "When you get out of the meeting, you gotta call me back. It's important." He calls me back. He's like, "What's up?" I'm like, "If you ever send me another picture of fucking blueberry pancakes, I'm gonna kill you." Like, because that was the thing I was getting, was that people said, I don't give a fuck if you make pierogies in crowd. I'm not Polish. Why are you sending me this shit? So that was the thing. I had the problem with Facebook and then Instagram, and I can't stand this shit. I'm getting bombarded with it. Oh, look, my dog took a shit and it looks like President Lincoln. I'm gonna bombard you with the pictures of it. I don't fucking care.
And then they're like, oh, I don't spend that much time on my computer. I'm like, no, because your face is buried in your fucking smartphone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is
Stop talking about me.
These are people that I swear to God have never been outside in the longest time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I hate saying this, but like I don't mean to bring them up again, because it's just I don't want to keep bringing them up. But they were doing the Tunch stream about maybe 3 weeks ago, and Brockett sends me this invite. And I had just gotten up for whatever reason, and I heard the notification going off on the computer. So I check it, and I hop in, and they're arguing over some girl that one of them dated like 4 years ago, and there's 4 guys arguing about this girl. And I'm thinking, I'm listening to this, and I said to them afterwards, I said, are you fucking kidding me? I said, the 4 of you. She's living in your heads rent-free now for how many years? What the fuck are the 4 of you letting this girl control your life? She's not even part of it anymore. And they're all MGTOW. Like, I just...
And the sad thing is they probably only dated her online.
One guy dated her. It was one guy's ex, and the other 3 were like fawning over. It was like a really bad version of what the fuck was Something About Mary. Like, I don't know. I've never.
I'm sorry. I mean, I'm sure these idiots in chat who are. I'm noticing patterns of threats of violence over entities. Trust me, I'm not threatening anybody. I don't threaten. It's not my way of dealing with things. So, and antisocial behavior is not violence. So, the terms that people use today are for violence are inane, stupid, and underwhelming.
Yeah.
Violence is seeing an entire village massacred with anti-aircraft machine guns. That's violence. Watching someone get their ass kicked is not violence, unless somebody gets put in a coma.
I've seen actually a few people get beaten, disfigured, and
that's violence. But have you ever seen like those YouTube fights where it's 2 kids just pushing each other, and throwing haymakers, and you're like, I mean, first of all, I really feel sorry for this current generation, because the question is, they don't throw punches, they throw haymakers, which is about the most ineffective punch to actually connect say a fist to a target, because you're actually losing all that energy because you're coming around. It's also the easiest punch to just step out of the way of. Yeah. I mean, and then they do this pushing shit. What's up with that? I mean, I could. It's like, what's up with the whole pushing thing? Just punch the fucker. If you're gonna get in a bar fight, punch the fucker. I mean, you're gonna get thrown out either way, so at least get a good lick in.
I had an argument last semester because the state is busting balls. I have to go to school or get a job, and the way that they have it working is New York State won't hire me because of insurance, yada yada yada. So I'm in the college, and I'm talking to this guy, and he's anti-Second Amendment, and he says to me, "Well, it's not like it's not like it was years ago. I mean, you can trust the government now." I look at him, I go, "You out of your fucking mind?" And he starts getting all bent looking. I'll never forget, because the guy, he kind of looked like a young version of Emperor Ming. He had like the big bald head with the big bushy eyebrows and a goatee. And so I'm talking to him, and he's going on and on about the guns and the Second Amendment. I said to him, I go, "Okay," I said, "have you ever fired a gun?" And he looks at me like, he gives me this incredulous look, and he goes, I happen to be an Air Force veteran. I go,
Okay, so he fired maybe 50 rounds in his entire career.
Right.
Security forces.
Right, and I've noticed that a lot of these guys who are former chair force tend to also be hashtag resistance. I've just noticed that. I'm just putting the two and two together.
I always like it when somebody asks me, "Have you fired a gun?" I was like, "Yeah, I put 200 rounds down range already this morning."
But I said that to this kid, right? I asked him, I said, have you ever fired a gun? He said, well, of course, I'm an Air Force veteran. I said, okay, congratulations. I said, because between you, me, I said, and the cop in the corner, because there was like I'm guessing this guy, I thought he was a cop. It turned out he was actually, he was stationed up over at one of the forts on the Hudson River Valley. So he was actually, I said, oh, okay, I thought you were a cop the way you were talking about the detail you wanted. He said, no, I was military. I said, okay, I didn't realize it. Because he, the way he was saying that he kept commuting in and out of the city every day, I just assumed he was NYPD and he was in Special Weapons and Tactics. So but anyway, I'm talking to this guy, and oh yeah, I fired I fired a weapon when I was in the Air Force. I said, okay, between you, me, and that cop, I said, the three of us are three unicorns in this college. I said because I said there might be a few other servicemen, there might be a few other, police officers. I said, but bar none of these kids have ever seen a gun outside of a movie. I said, this is the reason they all treat it like Harry Potter's fucking wand. I said, it wouldn't be magical to them if they actually handled one of the damn things once in a while and they were familiar with it,
I mean, my 3-year-old already has her own 22 caliber rifle.
Yeah.
To be honest, I mean, my 3-year-old's probably fired more rounds than a lot of people. I mean, not it. Okay, let me preface this so YouTube doesn't freak the fuck out. It's always under adult supervision, and she's given 1 round at a time to fire. But she's 3 years old. I work under the whole philosophy: if you remove the mystery from it, they're not going to be tempted to play with it later.
Yep.
Just like, you can tell a child at an early enough age, don't stick your hand under a lawnmower. You can teach them, don't stick your hand in a blender. Now, there are some kids walking around with stumps. That's what's called stupid. You see, you can't fix stupid. But if a kid's smart, you can teach a smart kid. Well, now, the same reason you teach them not to stick their hand in the blender, not to stick their hand under the lawnmower, is so they become familiar with it. The reason you teach a child how to use a knife at a certain age when they become dexterous enough with their hands where they can actually handle the blade is so it demystifies it and they're not sitting there flipping it around. The reason teenagers get hurt with knives is because it's the first time they got their hands on the things. You see, that's the thing.
If you teach them proper safety, that you cut down on the injuries a lot.
Yeah. And if you ever notice, whenever it was the kid who would injure somebody or someone would get injured and they'd say, oh, it was so-and-so, he's the bad kid, it was the kid who wasn't being supervised right. It was either the father was absent or the father was a shitbird or whatever the role model was not a strong role model. There are sometimes, you get the one where it's a single mom raises the kid and the mother's is tough. I mean, fucking tough and does a good job with the kid. But more likely than not, you get the one shitbird, and that's the one who's injuring everybody with his slingshot and his firecrackers and whatever. And my thing I always said was, instead of nerfing the shit out of everything, we're just going to take away every single toy these kids that have that could injure them. Instead of, wrapping them in bubble wrap and like making it where they're in this safe environment their entire childhood, and then they get thrust into adulthood without ever getting exposure to anything. Why not just curtail the kids? In other words, like, get involved. Stop the helicopter parenting. That's the problem. We're changing society because we have lazy parents.
Ugh. Sounds about right.
Hot. Well, I'm just, look, it's hot. Since I'm on the stream, I can't go in the air conditioning, so it's got me ornery. And I'm pissed off at these younger people. Seriously. This insane shit. I mean, Christ, I had to go through a digital audit of flies the past 2 weeks with this friggin' tribunal shit and these friggin' acquisitions and inquisitions and all sorts of crap.
And everything short of Monty Python, no one expects the Spanish Inquisition. I mean, it was almost like it was almost as bad as a skit of a Monty Python movie.
Well, you know,
except without the silly sound effects.
You know, the thing is, I like talking to you. I like talking to Tara. I like talking to the other people I talk to, but I don't want to have any part of some sort of sick, weird society where the fucking Scarlet Letter and Time in the Stocks. Get the hell out of here. I'm not interested in that shit.
Valis, if you're still listening, go check your Twitter DMs.
So how is the chat going? Is it still zipping past, or?
Not so much.
Damn kids and their music. Amen to that. If you can even call that crap music nowadays.
Oh, you mean auto-tune everything? I'm actually kind of convinced that, believe it or not, I think music died in about 1993.
You know, there are, out of all of these kids, all these younger guys, there are maybe two that I actually like, and I can honestly say I think are talented. And these are just performers. I'm not talking musicians like guitarists, drummers, because you do get good, you know, you'll get a good band every few years, even a couple if you're lucky. But I'm talking like, you know, I grew up in the time of like Michael Jackson. I grew up in the time of showmen. You know, they would get up on stage and they would give you a performance. And
well, I mean, they had like Michael Jackson. He had like probably the greatest stage performer.
Yeah,
as a role model. I mean, no one can ever. And I want to say this as far as that genre of music, soul music, hip hop music, early pop music. No one can hold a candle to James Brown.
James Brown. I was just going to say, and I was fortunate enough. I saw James Brown at Woodstock. I was very lucky to see James Brown. I consider myself a blessed person. The man was phenomenal. But that having been said, nowadays, and I'm not trying to compare them to James Brown or Michael Jackson, but in that vein, as far as like showmanship that I've seen performance-wise, probably two of the better showmen I've seen thus far again, we're not talking rock, probably Bruno Mars and Jason Derulo. I've seen
I was gonna say Bruno Mars, but
yeah. No, I've seen these kids perform. Oh my God, what a fantastic performance! I seen Kid Rock also at Woodstock '99, and you would be amazed at what a showman he is. You know, that's the thing, because I worked, you know, at a bunch of different clubs over the years, and I've seen a lot of different bands perform. And, you know, the music is obviously key, but a lot of times it's just, do they give it that extra, you know, that extra mile? And Kid Rock really goes out of his way when he performs live. He is a true showman. And I was actually pleasantly surprised by how much of a showman he was. And like I said, I've seen probably, you name them, I've probably seen them. And, you know, James Brown was probably one of the best shows I ever seen live. Seen Paul and Funkadelic a bunch of times. George Clinton is the man. I actually got to shake his hand at Woodstock. They did an impromptu, I think it was the night before the first night, you know, like everyone got in the night before and everyone set up the tents and they have like the rave going and everything. And I'm leaning up against the stage and all of a sudden I feel a hand on my shoulder. And he goes like this to me. He goes, "Excuse me a second, young blood, but we're going to need the stage because we're, you know, doing a performance real quick." So I go, "Yeah, sure, pal, no problem." I turn around, I look, and it's fucking George Clinton.
George Clinton is fucking awesome.
I thank God it was a heat wave, and I had been sweating all day, because if my bladder had anything in it, I probably would have pissed myself just from like my valves would have opened. Like, oh my God, I have never really been a starstruck person, but just because I'm having a conversation with George Clinton, I was like, holy shit.
You would have been like Jeremy Piven in PCU.
Yeah, that's my whole point was, you know, you got to realize it was that era. I think PCU would come out like, what, 97? So like the movie was only 2 years old at this point. It was 99, and there's Mr. George himself, and I'm like shaking his hand, talking to him, and I kept it cool the whole conversation. And like the minute he turned around and walked away, like thank God I was holding on to the stage. My knees started to buckle. I was like, holy shit, because of the adrenaline. I mean, I met Ozzy. Ozzy was cool. I talked to him for a few seconds, but that was more of like a surprise thing. The thing with George Clinton just floored me. I couldn't believe it.
You know, I mean, I wouldn't want to be like standing next to his tour bus and have to take a piss test the next day. But, you know.
Yeah, it was really cool, man. Woodstock was an amazing time. It was really amazing. I just thank God I didn't get no diseases. Oh, memories. I can't believe that next summer that's going to be 20 years ago. You know, that's something else. 20 years. 20 years. I think I'm going to actually go back up to Utica, you know, try to do a reunion. Because
I think I'm going to have to get rid of Chaotic Lee.
Okay.
Because they keep bringing up, like this time they go, Bootsy Collins is better, 1v1 me in real life, or blacklists me.
All right. Do what you got to do.
About getting blacklisted earlier.
All right. Whatever you got to do. You're the host.
They're saying kicked for lols.
Shake your cane at them when the balls land in your yard.
Thank you,
That's
Necro.
funny.
I was just sitting there. I mean, you know, whatever you can say. You can say whatever you want, or 1v1 you in real life. Dude, don't. I'm not gonna waste my time on you. Honestly, you're not worth fucking the 23 cents that a 5.56 round has cost me. That's how apathetic I am about you. I am too old to bother fist fighting a bunch of children.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I'm just on here because I'm concerned about saving the country. You know, that's why I came on here to talk to people about. I got no problem talking to people about other things too. I'm not a one-track kind of guy, but that's my main motivation. I'm going down to more again this September. I plan on going every September now until the man, you know, finishes out his second term. And then after that, if we're still doing it, I'll go again. You know, that's what the thing is for me, is I'm concerned about my country. You fought for this country. A bunch of people I know fought for this country. Most of my family has and still is fighting for this country. So, I don't know. I got a pretty big dog in this race. And that's basically what my main motivation is.
Well, do you know? Okay, speaking of the 2020 presidential race, did you know who the top Democrat contender is right now?
No, who?
Andrew Cuomo.
Oh, God.
No. The guy's fucking unelectable. I mean, maybe if the borough of fucking Manhattan was the only person voting for president. The guy is that big of a fucking douchebag. And let's face it, if the main 5 boroughs of New York didn't populate or didn't actually got to the point of like actually outnumbering everyone else in the state of New York, he never would have gotten elected because his policies are massively unpopular with anyone that lives upstate. Anyone that actually lives on a farm in New York. And yes, I do know there are working farms in New York State.
Oh, yeah. I'll be the first one to tell you.
I'm looking at Twitter, and someone, this was posted back in 2014. It's a picture of a toilet with a whole bunch of purple, blue, and pink foam in it. And the caption is, "My dad thought my bath bomb was toilet cleaner."
I mean, we all know that like Andrew Cuomo is a fucking joke. I mean, the New York Safe Act, it is the biggest joke that ever was. And let's put it this way: no, not even liberal left-wing gun owners would vote for Andrew Cuomo.
Yeah.
But yeah, please have him be the front runner. So please, we can watch more states turn red. I mean, honestly, my biggest hope out of basically the midterms is I really want to see the 14th district, congressional district in New York City turn red. Just so that fucking I'm fine. Just so that fucking socialist cunt bag. Oh, and I'm sorry if I'm getting the stream demonetized, but it's not.
Oh, I ain't getting no fucking money.
Yeah. Wait. But just so that she is like absolutely the most awful candidate you could run. But she ran because she galvanized her identity politics base, which is the Puerto Ricans in the 14th district, to elect her.
Yeah.
And Scooby, you're familiar with the 14th district, am I correct?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's not your district, but it's like what's up next to it.
It's a few. She's probably about. Let me see. The 14th district is
Bronx.
both sides. It's both sides of the bridge she has. It's where the bridge touches down in the Bronx and Queens. It's the Queensboro Bridge. So that's basically she has both sides of the bridge, they call it. And so like the area that she's part of in Queens is very close to me, but the Bronx, it's not that the Bronx isn't close, but it's a pain in the ass to get there because it's the most congested place on earth. It's worse than like the worst parts of Los Angeles is that one spot to get up to the Bronx from where I am. It's a nightmare. So
right, but I mean, she's actually from a very affluent neighborhood. That's that. So she's not even. But I mean, like I said, she's going in and she's talking about like, how big of a win she had. She didn't really win by that much. And you had a massively low turnout. I mean, you have how many people living in that district? How many hundreds of thousands of registered Democrats? And less than 100,000 people voted in the primary?
Well, do you know why? Because they printed up all the flyers and everything in Spanish, and they handed most of them out in the Catholic churches.
Yeah.
And
okay, but, that area also has a lot of Polish people. It has a lot of Italians. It has a lot of Irish. It has a lot of working class guys. Pipe fitters, electricians, union guys, but skilled trade unions. And those guys are not going to vote for a straight up socialist because, quite frankly, she's talking about taking their hard earned, and I do mean that hard earned money, and giving it to people that haven't earned it.
Yeah.
I mean, she's talking about just doing it to the rich, but the way that system ultimately works out is it actually comes from the middle class.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I really hope she loses, and I really hope that she gets maybe 13,000 votes, just so we can see that it was her base that motivated the whole thing. Because, first of all, she refuses to debate anybody. And second of all, I mean, the Democratic Party is already they're Hillarying her, for lack of a better term. They're trotting her out like she's already won. They're having her, and she is proving to be the biggest fucking airhead. She actually makes Bernie Sanders look smart. She's going out and she's like, they flew her out to Hawaii to introduce a Democrat candidate. The whole purpose of her going out there, right? And she actually walked off the stage after giving some speech about oppression, and failed to actually announce and introduce the candidate. She was paid to come out there to introduce. I mean, that's like you had one job, Carl.
Yeah.
You had one job. Fucking mean.
You know, there's this black kid, big kid. He's a bodybuilder. His name's the Amazing Lucas. He cuts a lot of videos on YouTube and on Instagram. He's a pretty boy, but he's a sharp kid. I like him. And he had put up a video about her, and he had a picture of her on there with a bow on her head, and it says, Ocasio-Cortez is a gift to the right. And you know what? I really think that this kid is correct. I mean, when they first announced that this girl was, going to be it, I freaked out because I said, oh my God, this is it. My state's going to be, they're going to replace the seal with the hammer and the sickle. I started freaking out. But now I'm so glad that they picked this girl. You have no idea. Holy shit, am I ecstatic. Wow. If you want proof that the other 30 crowd got shit wrong with them, look no further. Holy God.
Here's another one where the under 30 crowd got shit wrong with them. Millennial couple bikes through ISIS territory to prove humans are kind and gets killed.
Okay, I'm going to say like what I said earlier. The world is not full of assholes. All right? But that doesn't mean you should go fucking bicycling through a terrorist-controlled area of the world. I mean, you just might get your lily white ass killed.
Evil is a make-believe concept we've invented to deal with the complexities of fellow humans. A progressive young American couple was killed in an Islamic State-claimed terrorist attack last month while on a bike trip around the world. Jay Austin and Lauren Geohan, who were both in their late 20s, quit their jobs in 2017 to embark on a trip around the world. Austin, a vegan, and Geohan, a vegetarian, decided that they were wasting their lives working. Yeah. Wasting their lives working. Gotcha.
Okay, so they were trust fund babies.
Had to have been. I've grown tired of spending the best hours of my day in front of a glowing triangle of coloring the best years of my life in swaths of gray and beige, Austin wrote on his blog before he quit. I've missed too many sunsets while my back was turned. Too many thunderstorms went unwatched. Too many gentle breezes unnoticed. Well, evidently you're not living your life.
Well, that's okay.
The couple documented their year-long journey on social media until it came to a tragic and gruesome end in Tajikistan, a country with a known terrorist presence. Austin and Geohan were writing.
It's Tajikistan, and it's on let's see, State Department travel warning list.
Okay.
It's in Central Asia. It is a shithole.
Okay. They were riding their bikes in the country on July 29th when they were rammed by a car, according to CBS News. 5 men got out of the car and stabbed them to death, along with 2 other cyclists, one from Switzerland, the other one from the Netherlands. 2 days later, ISIS released a video showing the same men sitting in front of the black ISIS flag. They looked at the camera and vowed to kill disbelievers, according to the New York Times.
Of course they did.
Throughout the trip, the couple embraced the kindness of strangers and sought to demonstrate that people are inherently good. Sorry, the computer's taking a little bit to scroll. You read in the papers and you're led to believe that the world is a big, scary place, Austin wrote. Damn it. People, the narrative goes, are not to be trusted. People are bad. People are evil. I don't buy it, he continued. Evil is a make-believe concept we've invented to deal with the complexities of fellow humans holding values and beliefs and perspectives different than our own. By and large, humans are kind, self-interested sometimes, myopic sometimes, but kind. Generous, wonderful, and kind. Some conservatives have framed the tragedy as a cautionary tale about not just the perils of travel, but also the naivety in general. In their telling, an overly generous understanding of human nature is behind much of today's progressive movement, including calls to radically scale back immigration enforcement and policing and support for socialism.
And by the way, Tajikistan is only is only at the second level of travel advisories.
Some liberals, for their part, might view Austin and Johan's hand as martyrs in the struggle for a better world, or simply as unfortunate. Well, in my opinion, it's much like the Aesop's and Grimm fairy tales. You know, you're told not to do something, you go do something that you're told not to do, and you end up dead. Trying to see if there's more below this. This fucking website's slow. No, there's not. But, you know, they were told not to go bicycling there. Most likely told. And they did it anyway. It's their own fucking fault.
I mean, you go into places of the world where, and I mean, almost every country has at least a level 1 advisory. Level 2 is a little bit more serious. Level 3 is you really don't want to go there. And level 4 is a fucking war zone.
Yeah. Oh, we have the next 6 minutes in here. Awesome.
Good evening, everybody.
Hey, Six, how are you?
Just had some cold pizza.
Ooh, cold pizza. Cold pizza's always good. Why the fuck is my YouTube acting up?
Because it's YouTube. And YouTube acts up.
Death Hyrican says, with that story, Terracin, well, they deserve a Darwin Award for it.
Well, yeah, I mean, the only thing they could have done stupider would be like say, oh, we're going to bicycle across Iraq and Iran. And then cross the border between Iraq and Iran without proper passports.
Even then, it's not a promise you'll still get out of there alive.
No. Both Iraq and Iran are level 4s. They are literally fucking war zones.
Yep, for some reason, people want to go there.
I guess it's for the spices.
Caviar.
Their spices aren't that worth it.
Saffron.
I can buy saffron at the grocery store.
Yeah.
And baby brother, no, the article didn't say where they were from, but from their attitude, the attitudes that they had and everything, probably from California.
It's funny how a state can become a state of mind.
Yeah, it's... Well, there's the nice little, hey, if you really want to go somewhere, consult this webpage first.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, well, Germany's at a level. Well, okay, to be fair, they were only going through a country with the same level of cautionary tales as Germany. Denmark, Belgium, and oh, let's see, and
I don't suppose that don'tfuckinggothere.com doesn't exist.
No, it's travel, state, gov, content, blah 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 blah. It's the travel advisory for the U.S. State Department. And no, they do have level 4s. They're called Do Not Travel. Iraq, Iran, South Sudan, Afghanistan, Syria,
most of Africa,
Somalia. Actually, most of Africa is at either a level 3 or level 2. The Sudan is a level 3. Nigeria is a level 3. Niger's a level 3. Nicaragua is a level 3. The Marshinian Territory, Travel, is a level 3. Mali is a level 4. That's because there's a fucking civil war going on there. Libya, that's a level 4. That's because there's a civil war going on there. North Korea is a level 4, but unless you're Dennis Rodman, it does not actually say that, but you know, he's got a special place there. The Central African Republic is a level 4. There's also a civil war there. Yeah. And, well, Yemen is a level 4. Venezuela is only a level 3. Careful, don't go there fat. They might eat you. Turkey's a level 3. Russia's, of course, a level 3. Guinness-Bissau travel is a level 3. That's because there's about to be a civil war there. And the Democratic Congo, Republic of the Congo, it's neither republic or democratic, is a level 3 because that place is, they like to take and kidnap people and cut their heads off. So, to be fair, they weren't even really in a bad country. They were just like what I call the typical American tourist. And you could be in the shittiest country in the world, like in a nice city, in a tourist trap. But there's inevitably that American tourist that's wearing Birkenstocks, black socks, cargo shorts, that wanders off the beaten path right into the worst fucking neighborhood.
Yep. I still like the name don'tbookinggoThere.com.
I
think that's more.
You might want to make the website.
It's more of an attention getter, really.
Or make don'tfuckinggothere.com and just have the link to the site that he just read from. Oh, God.
So, how's everybody this evening?
I'm tired, as per usual.
What is almost midnight for you?
Yeah, and I'm supposed to be working on a wedding dress, and I keep meaning to. It's just, I don't have my little area cleaned up, which I have to do. If I work hard on it, I can get this dress pumped out in like 3 months.
Well, as long as they're getting married at least 6 months away, you've got plenty of lead time.
Yeah, April of next year.
Well, provided that she doesn't get pregnant 2.5 months before.
She's already had her tubes tied and had 2 kids.
Okay, so problem solved. Probably not having a massive change in size.
No.
And
she's one of those bitches I hate, and I pick on her all the time, where she can eat all she wants and she doesn't gain weight because she has a high metabolism.
Well, that usually slows down when they hit 30.
She's her mid-20s, almost 30s. The man she ended up marrying, he's a great guy. I love him to death. Her first husband was a piece of shit. I actually tried to talk her out of getting married, but she got married.
But she sold her the wedding dress anyway.
No, that was the first time. With this guy, no. I'm like, go for it. Do it.
Well, that's the pitfalls of that sort of thing.
I mean, I can show everyone the wedding dress I'm going to be working on. Let me pull up an image of it.
Oh. Ooh, this is an interesting piece of news once you get done with what you're doing, Tara.
Go ahead and talk about it. I got to find this image.
All right. Oberon government abolishes gender studies in Hungary. So,
Oh yeah, I got a link to that one.
yeah.
So the Hungarians, they've managed to find a clue.
Well, two universities are they basically ban it because they're basically fucking useless.
Essentially, yeah.
I mean, what are you going to do with a gender studies degree? It's a degree that only exists so you can go get a higher level gender studies degree, so you can teach future gender studies degree students.
Pretty much.
It's a pyramid scheme.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Pretty much, it's a you're training to you're in a class with professors who have been educated to turn you into a pissed off activist, so that you can in turn train to be someone who educates others to become pissed off activists. It's
Pretty much.
Activism 101, which I don't believe at least any publicly funded university should be supporting or have
Well,
or have that be part of it, their curriculum.
The Ministry of Human Capacities stated there is absolutely no interest for gender studies graduates in the Hungarian job market, and then added the course is economically irrational. So they assumed that it is not launched to give students useful knowledge, but it serves other interests. According to the ministry, the gender studies MA takes away resources from other courses and harms the economic stabilities of universities.
Pretty much.
Yeah, you remember that little college in Missouri that had all that shit after Ferguson?
Mizzou, yeah.
Yeah, their enrollment's down 45%.
Well,
Oh, six. What's going on, man?
I am full of pizza.
Cool. He figures I take the dog outside because he's got to talk to a man about the horse, and they haggle over price, and I come back and you pull Fred Thompson and show up in the third act. Lovely.
There we go.
Well, yeah. Well, Scooby, they just we found out Hungary decided to ban. They banned gender studies degrees.
Really?
Yes.
So, is anyone else going to join me in applying for dual citizenship?
No.
Seriously, it is still hungry. I mean, what do they got there? A booming pornography industry? I don't know of anything else.
Goulash.
Gulags and beer. Oh God.
Oh, and they have a it was Russian. We have it, and we will then turn around and sell it as surplus to you for your own private tank, armored personnel carrier, or hey, if you don't mention too bad, we'll sell you 5 MiG-21s for the price of 4. That'll be only $100,000 US.
Now this is the thing, doesn't that mean they're cutting in on the Bulgarians market by doing that?
No, everybody does that in Western Europe. Or Eastern. Well, no, I'm sorry, the new Western Europe, because the old Eastern Europe is the new Western Europe because they've all embraced capitalism and they've taken all this crap that that the Russians gave them and have gone. There are Americans that want tanks, that want armored personnel carriers, and will pay ridiculous amounts of money for them. And so, they decide, hey, let's just sell our old surplus and then go buy new Western shit.
Oh, and back to the wedding dress thing. This isn't the best picture, and I can't find a better one right now. This is the wedding dress I am going to duplicate, minus the corset.
Cool.
I've got all the supplies. I just have to get duct tape and Instafoam so I can make the dress frame, so I don't have to keep having her come over like once a week to make sure that the top fits right.
I got to get leather and chains and spikes. You got to make me a leather Cenobite dress like Pinhead wears. Seriously, I'll start wearing it to job interviews. Wouldn't that actually be good? I'm curious to see if I start going to. I want to film it to see if I actually get hired in this fucked up state wearing that shit.
I mean, it couldn't hurt.
Surprisingly, Burnside isn't wanting to come onto the stream so he could go off on that troll. Usually he enjoys that.
Huh.
Must be having a rough week.
Yeah.
Speaking of rough weeks, I can envision Scooby as a greeter for Home Depot wearing the Cenobite costume. Hello. Welcome to Home Depot.
Oh, come on now. Give me some credit. It would be Walmart all the way.
Yeah, there we go.
he would be Walter at Walmart. Welcome to Walmart. Get your shit and get out.
Of course, I don't know. I think the Home Depot orange smock might go better with the outfit as opposed to the blue smock. Just, I don't know. I just realized that they're both stores that have greeters and they both use smocks, but that's where the similarities end.
Yeah, there's actually shit at the Home Depot I want to buy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I look at people and I tell them all the time, well, if you like to support racism, if you like to support cruelty, if you like to support slavery, shop at Walmart. Seriously.
I mean, you remember back in the day when you could go to Walmart and you'd find everything on it had made in America.
Yeah. Yep. That was the whole point of going to Walmart, was you're going there to buy American goods. But the reason I say that, I'm not even saying that tongue-in-cheek. I've seen so far 2 or 3 videos on China Uncensored where people went and bought shit from Walmart, took it home, and there were like notes in there that people like snuck in, like, please get this to your State Department. We're like chained to our tables, making you your decorations for Christmas. Help us. Like, did you see any of this shit?
No.
Yeah, look it up. Look up notes in Walmart Christmas items, China Uncensored. It'll really rattle your cage. That's part of the reason I voted for the old man. I've been watching China Uncensored for like a year or two because I was actually looking into. We have a really big Chinese population that has moved here. If you remember Sex in the City with Fran Drescher, where she lived, Flushing, doesn't exist like that anymore. The locals call it Falishang now because it's got the highest number of Chinese people outside of China anywhere on the planet. And if you go into Nassau County, which is by me, and you go to all the way from Flushing to Great Neck, that's how big the Asian population is. It's across all 2 counties, and up into Great Neck, it's the highest number of Koreans outside of Korea anywhere on the planet. So I started looking into. They have a problem in other states with those silver carp. And they're an invasive species because they leap out of the water and they smack you in the face and they can kill you. That's all these folks eat all day. So I started looking into, okay, maybe I can start like removing them from other states and bringing them here because we don't have the same problem with, if the carp gets out into our rivers, well, they wind up in the Atlantic Ocean eventually. It's not a problem with us. And, our rivers freeze solid because they're so shallow in the winter. So the fish around here are the ones that go down into the mud, and these carp don't have that adaptation. They'll die if they get out. So it's not a problem. But I was looking into it, and that's what made me stumble onto China Uncensored. And oh my God, if you've seen half of the shit that goes on in that country, like Walmart, they actually had to put nets in between the buildings because the employees were like trying to commit suicide. They're called suicide nets. And they would just catch him and drag him back in. That's when they started chaining them to the table because the suicide nets were eventually breaking because the employees figured out if they all jumped out at the same time, the net would just give. So you're having mass suicide. So they did this shit. And so they started putting out the notes in the Walmart products. It's fuck. That's part of the reason I voted for Trump. The minute he started saying China, I'm like, yeah, definitely. You got my vote. All you had to say was China. That's the magic word. Like, seriously, the shit that country does. The reason all these Chinese people are here is because they got chased out of China. They're all, they're mostly like Falun Gong practitioners. And China declared it a cult. Do you know what Falun Gong is? It's the Chinese equivalent of Tai Bo. It was literally this guy started some shit with infomercials and people doing videos and shit. And they decided, okay, this is a cult and we're going to murder them and take their organs. Crazy shit, man. Well, I'm serious. Look up that shit with all the evil shit that goes on there. The stuff you buy there is toxic. It can kill your kids. The dog food that they were selling there. That's why you can't find, I think it was Blue Buffalo. You can't find Blue Buffalo anymore. That killed my two sisters' dogs. The one dog got something like 30 pounds of tumors from that shit. And it was a fucking
the
French
melamine.
bulldog. Yeah.
Yeah, they're mixing melamine as a filler.
Yeah.
You know that's the stuff they make those kind of thickish plastic plates and bowls and stuff like that.
Yeah. These
That's
dirty
melamine.
communist motherfuckers. Yeah.
It has the same kind of sheen. It bears some similarity with PVC, but it's a sturdier, heavier kind of plastic.
You know, and when you watch this shit and watch what these fucking filthy, disgusting communists are doing to their own people and what they sent over here to kill, you know, my sister's dogs. I love those dogs. You know, I used to take care of them when they were puppies. I didn't see this happen to them, thank God, because I would have went ballistic. But, you know, you see this shit, and then you got one of these little fucking 80-pound sissy Marys in their fucking Doc Martens with one of those hammer and sickle boots standing there giving you dirty looks on the subway. You know how much I want to grab them by their fucking ankles and try to mandrel bend them around a support beam? It's disgusting. Like, when they sit there and they try to talk to you about communism, all I do is show them one of these videos about what the communists did over there. And, oh, it's not real communism. Really? The Chinese Communist Party. What the fuck does CCP stand for? It's not real communism? You know what? Fine. I'll tell you what. I'll pay for your plane ticket. You go over there and tell Xi Jinping he's not a real communist. Good luck to you.
My usual thing to tell people is there a red star on the side of the tank?
Mm-hmm.
If yes, they're communists.
I can't understand this. I can't understand the appeal. It's mind-boggling to me. It's like, you know, they're leaping for joy. Yes, we're embracing mediocrity at best. Wow.
Because
fuck it.
Because they feel like I don't know. I guess they feel like that if they aren't given, everybody isn't pulled down, then well, they want free shit. Let's just be honest.
Yeah. I can't get behind that shit. You know, I understand on the one hand, you know, the whole, you have such a belief in your system and in your people that you feel that your government is some sort of like mythic thing. I can understand that delusion. I can understand that part of it. But there in and of itself it's a delusion. You know, I mean, let's face it. Look, I have a lot of friends on here who I'm friendly with who are trans. But there are certain people who, if they're big like me or even bigger, and they decide they want to become a woman, I'm not going to lie to them. And, you know, look, you got a fucking hell of a mountain you're going to be climbing there, pal. You know, all right, I'll support you. But, you know, in the end, what's the end result going to be? You know, I mean, it's the same thing with this. You know, look, there's only so much you can bend reality before reality comes crashing in on you. You know, and that's the thing. Like what I just said, even though what I just said, I feel on my heart of hearts, there's nothing hateful about that. It's just me dealing with reality and being honest about the situation and saying, I'll sit there and support this person, but
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, I don't think it's going to come out the way you think it's going to come out. Nowadays, that's considered hateful. That's actually considered vile. Just to, sit there and be like, look, have you really thought about this? Because, you're 6'6", you got an Adam's apple that looks like you swallowed a pear. I mean, let's be realistic here. And,
Yeah.
I mean...
It's like a monster truck wanting to become a Mini Cooper.
Right. And then you have, again, on the flip side of it, you have the girl who's only about 4 foot something and change and wants to become a man. That's not going to change the fact that you're a diminutive human being. That's not going to change anything. It's not like if you're a man, people... I don't like, that the feminists do that, because you're teaching these people that if they become a man, it's going to change everything about them. There's nothing magical about it. Certain people go through life ignored, and certain people go through life noticed. That's just how it goes. We can't all be noticed, and we can't all be ignored. Some people who want to be ignored more than anything and crave anonymity become famous. And likewise, most people who crave fame never get it. It's just how it works, And I don't know. The past couple of days has got my head really rattled, because I've just seen some of the darkest corners of humanity, and it makes you lose faith in people. It really does, man. But I'm being a chatterbox and a Debbie Downer. For God's sake, do we have any Florida man stories? Six, because I really want to hear them.
I haven't checked in a long time.
Oh, good. That means they're probably we got a surplus.
It still exists. Let me see.
Yeah. I'm feeling saucy. I want to hear something about an 80-year-old woman using a chicken and a bow with like an arrow and like killing her husband. Something like that.
Well, let me see if I can hunt something up. Holy shit, it still exists.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I've heard dozens, if not hundreds, of these Florida man stories at this point. And I'll never forget, my favorite one is still the monk who was in the park just tending flowers, and all of a sudden some guy shows up dressed like a ninja with the friggin' Trinity knot in the middle of his forehead and the samurai sword, and cuts the monk's head off for whatever reason.
Yeah.
God bless Florida.
Yeah. Let's see.
Fuck you all.
Are you kidding me? Terry, do you realize I grew up in a state where comic books, movies, and video games portrayed it as constantly being full of like supervillains, and lo and behold, your state is full of like D-list supervillains. There's all like these crazy people running around in costumes and doing crazy shit, like running into stores chasing people with alligators. Come on.
Oh, fuck you.
That's so cool.
Let's see. The newest story I can find is from the 5th. From American Celt. And it's not a Florida man story, but it's kind of stupid. Apparently, people are getting cosmetic surgery to look like their Snapchat selfies.
Huh?
Oh, there is a God. There so is a God.
Yeah, there's there's these filters that make you look better than, well, quote unquote, make you look quote unquote better than you would otherwise normally look, and people are getting cosmetic surgeries to look like those selfies.
You know what's going to happen, don't you? It's going to become like Chasing Dragon.
Yeah.
They're going to all wind up looking like the Catwoman of Fifth Avenue.
Oh gosh.
I so approve of this trend.
So this one comes for us from bbc.co.uk. So prepare for some British colloquialisms.
Oh,
let's see. Crystal is a 26-year-old single mom and a medical assistant from San Diego, California. She has always loved sending selfies back and forth to her friends and would often pause before sending her own. Quote, I couldn't help noticing the way the Snapchat filter changed my face, she said. It enhanced my chin, contoured my cheekbones, and straightened out my nose, which is something that I've always been self-conscious about. Crystal, pictured above, sometimes managed to get a similar look with makeup, but she didn't have time to do that every day, so in a bid to look like her flower crown filter, she decided to have fillers injected into her nose and under her eyes. Oh, lovely. Quote, people don't realize that I've had anything done. They just think I lost weight or something, said Crystal, who now says she's happy to send, quote, hashtag no filter snaps. Crystal is one of a rising number of young people turning to cosmetic procedures to look more like their selfies, according to a new research from the American Academy of Facial Plastic and Reconstructive Surgeons. 55% of facial plastic surgeons in 2017 saw patients who wanted surgery to help them look better in selfies, compared to just 13% in 2013. The study also found that 56% of surgeons surveyed saw an increase in clients under the age of 30. People have long come to cosmetic surgeons bearing photos of celebrities that they want to look like. Now they're bringing in photos of themselves, according to San Francisco-based surgeon Dr. David Mabry. This is an improvement. I don't see how this is an improvement. Quote, I prefer working off a real photo of somebody because they have a sense of what they might look like with fillers or Botox, said Dr. Mabry, with whom Crystal saw. They don't have an unrealistic expectation that they are going to magically transform into Kylie Jenner. I would hope that nobody would want to transform into Kylie Jenner. Anyhow, nonetheless, certain requests are still impossible. Some filters make eyes wider, which can't be done with surgery, he said. That's why a proper consultation is key. It's important that your surgeon is realistic with you and doesn't just go down a laundry list of what you want, he adds. Cosmetic enhancements are increasingly seen as normal, with celebrities and reality TV stars openly having procedures. That, combined with the fact that the social media seems to negatively impact self-esteem. A 2015 report from the Office of National Statistics found that 27% of teens who engage with social media for more than 3 hours a day have symptoms of mental health issues. You don't say. Might explain the emergence of Snapchat dysmorphia. The term was coined by Dr. Tijon Esho, a cosmetic doctor at the Esho Clinic, UK. It isn't a formal condition, but it's a phenomenon that's worrying mental health practitioners and cosmetic surgeons. We now see photos of ourselves daily via the social platforms we use, which arguably makes us more critical of ourselves, explained Dr. Esho, who has turned away some patients who seem overly obsessed with looking like their filtered photos. Patients using pictures of celebrities or Snapchat filtered versions of themselves as reference point is okay. I see. The danger is when it's not just a reference point, but it becomes how the patient sees themselves, or the patient wants to look exactly like that image. Not only is this unrealistic, it's potentially a sign of underlying problems with the patient concerned. Further questions should be asked to screen for any element of body dysmorphia. Treating patients that do show those red flags is not only unethical, but also detrimental to the patient, as they need something that no needle or scalpel can ever provide.
Well,
self-confidence.
I'm pretty sure if they come in and ask for a set of fucking panda ears and a fucking bear nose, there's something fucking wrong with them.
Yeah. Can you surgically implant a ring of flowers onto my head? Or give me those, or surgically implant sparkles around my face? No, not on my face, around my face. What do you mean? That defies the laws of physics.
I want small, sparkly things orbiting my head at all times.
Yeah. I want hearts and shit floating around my head. What do you mean we don't have the science to reproduce that?
They did it on Snapchat.
I want flames on my eyelids.
I want to look like a lion. Oh gosh.
And
Anyhow.
this from the generation that snorts condoms and eats Tide Pods.
Yeah.
The
I just got a question. That
What's
Kylie Jenner, is she 18 yet?
She's like 20. Hold on, I think she's. God, you're making me Google this shit.
yeah, she's like 21 or 22 and already has a kid with some douche nozzle.
Well, I mean, they've been sexualizing this girl for years. That's the thing I'm thinking about. And
20. She's 21. Already has a child. Who already has a Wikipedia page at 6 months old. Seriously, what is wrong with people?
it's this cult of personality, the celebrity cult shit.
Hey, anybody want to guess what the profession of the guy that Kylie's marrying is?
Porn star?
Wrong.
Alright.
Hip hop.
Football player.
Wrong, Tara. Right 6.
Yeah.
What did 6 say?
Hip hop artist.
Of course he is. I'm guessing that there's a dash somewhere in his name. Like his name is 2 syllables and there's a dash separating them.
No, he actually has a very normal name of Travis Scott.
Oh.
Ah. How much gold is this guy wearing?
Yeah.
But that's not his real name. His real name is Jacaz Bierman Webster II. So I guess that Travis Scott just sounded more
Sane.
sane.
Jacaz? Isn't that like a South
It's
American
French.
energy drink?
No, it's probably some French name I'm mispronouncing.
Sounds like a chemical that's in.
Jacques. Jacques.
Oh, Jacques.
Jacques.
Jacques. Yeah, he's probably Haitian, honestly, with that name.
Yeah, no, I knew a guy. That's how come I know how to pronounce it. One of the guys I worked with, his name, he was from the West Indies, and his name was Jacques. His name was Jacques Dubois, and he was as black as the day is long.
Well, he probably went with Travis Smith or whatever to just sound more professional, or to not sound like he's straight out of Haiti.
Yeah, right. I don't think DJ Montumbo would have went over well either. So
I'm gonna, and instead of having a French sounding name, I'm going to have an American sounding stage name.
That's not just American. That's like
White
pizza
boy
guy. That's like pizza guy American.
That's like I'm from Idaho.
Yeah, a pizza guy from Idaho.
Oh man, that's too funny. I thought that this girl, I'm glad that she's at least of age to drink now, but I mean, so I've heard of her name for a while now. I mean, have they been sexualizing this girl since before she was 18? Because,
yeah,
you know,
is her last name Kardashian?
Oh God,
I'm sorry, Jenner. She's whatever. I don't care. I do not keep up with the Kardashians. I just go, damn it, the Kardashians alone, almost off-color joke coming up.
They're mole people.
I know, they almost like justify the Armenian genocide. I mean, seriously, why are people obsessed with these people?
You know how much it drives me nuts, because my one niece actually looks like one of them. And I mean, look, I hate saying this, it's going to sound racist, but I mean, she's like urban candy. Like every asshole with a skull cap and 3 fucking gold chains was coming up trying to hit on her when she was with me at the mall. It got annoying after a while. Like, I mean, every thug, like within a 30-mile radius, was just like coming up to her, like, yo, what's good, shorty? How you doing? Yo, what's the deal? Like, can we kick in him? Hey, asshole, it's my niece. It was good, man. I'm just trying to get you. Yeah, she's 15. The fuck out of here before I bust your head open.
Kendall Jenner is 22. Kylie Jenner is 21. Shoot. Kim Kardashian is 37. Khloe is 34. And what have these people done to actually be famous? I'm seriously wanting to know.
One of them released a sex tape like about 15 years ago.
Yeah, but why does that make them famous?
I don't know. I guess she was banging somebody who was famous.
Well,
I don't know.
No, she was banging the brother of that R&B singer, Brandy. So,
what a lot of it is, I really hate saying it. This is just shows you how vapid this country is. It's just a lot of people want to fuck her. I really think it's nothing more elegant than that. I mean, seriously, a lot of these people are as popular as they are. I mean, to me, it's no different than if they were like parading prostitutes up on stage and like taking, bids on taking them home. That's what this pop culture has devolved down to. Look at Miley Cyrus. I mean, the girl, for God's sake, I'm not saying it trying to be mean, but she presents herself as nothing more than a fuck puppet. I mean, what else what's the reason these people are popular? You can't think of anything else that you can name other than the fact that, forgive me for putting it so plainly, most people skin their dick to these girls. That's really what makes them so popular. And a lot of these young ladies see, because of how our society has been geared the past 20, 30 years because of the Democrats meddling, these young girls are basically being trained like, oh, okay, you got to act like a pig like these broads. This is the reason. Look, I'm a 39-year-old man. I go out now places. I got young girls looking at me, and it makes me fucking uncomfortable.
Oh, well, here is one of the reasons why they're famous.
Mm-hmm.
The dead dad.
The dad's
second
Robert Kardashian.
Yeah, was second chair on the O.J. Simpson defense trial.
Yeah, I remember that guy.
Yeah, that's what's showing the spotlight on them. But let's face it, they all got that hourglass figure. Great skin, great hair, great teeth. And this is a country that has slowly been devolved down into base desire and indulgence. It's become decadent. So naturally, you have these decadent, hedonistic-looking girls. This is the thing. It was in the 80s and 90s, it was blondes. Now they want exotic flavors. That's what you're seeing, and it's a lot more vulgar than it was then. Like back then.
Also, I think one of the reasons we have this culture that is obsessing with stars and starlets is America's a country with no royal family.
Mm-hmm.
And without a royal family, I mean, okay, people devote to stars and starlets and internet celebrities the way that internet celebrities less so, but they're kind of like viscounts or dukes or the extended royal family, but that's America's metaphorical royalty.
Celebrities are aristocracy, essentially.
That's the thing that bothers me, because I remember when they started to shift it when I was a kid, because I don't know if you guys remember, when we were kids, you guys remember, it's the older guys in the neighborhood were really into people like Evel Knievel. They went to NASCAR drivers. You'd hear people talking about different athletes. You'd hear them talking about different pilots or astronauts. People who actually did things, Then all of a sudden now, you don't hear about them as much anymore. You hear about these athletes when they beat the shit out of their wife, or when they crash their Porsche into a school bus full of kids, or some other stupid thing that they do.
Or when they protest for making $1 million a game.
Right. That's my point. There's no heroes left. And that's what's affecting this society. Honestly, I'm glad we don't have a royal family. Honestly, fuck those people. Bunch of inbred weirdos. I wouldn't want us emulating people like that anyway. You know, what we should emulate in this country is each other. We should really emulate the fact that we have a society that allows us to achieve the shit that we are allowed to achieve. And that's the thing is, they're teaching these kids to celebrate indulgence and excess. What they should
Well,
teach them is to, you know,
17 years ago,
mhm.
an event happened, and the 17th year anniversary is coming up.
Yeah.
And you couldn't find an American, I don't think, that hated cops or firemen on September 12th, 2001. And I think that was the last, about a couple years after that, that was the last time that we really in this country saw people that do real things as heroes.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate to say it, but I think it's going to take another major tragedy to shake people off of this. Celebrities are important. Honestly, the way I look at celebrities is like they're the dancing monkey, and I'm the organ grinder. And I don't really care what they have to think. I don't care if I agree with them or not. They are not something I'm going to base my political or my moral decisions upon. And I really don't care what they have to say if I'm not grinding the organ, and I ain't grinding the organ. So, you know, I mean, to me, that's why we have the republic that we have. It's so that, you know, people like me that live in flyover country matter.
Yeah. You know, thespians in ancient Rome were on the same social rung as burlesque dancers and prostitutes.
Well, in ancient
says a lot
Rome,
about them.
ancient Rome, tavern owners could not be citizens of the Roman Empire.
Yeah. Says a lot about Rome, you know. They talk about how decadent they were. They kept their shit in check. You notice they let it happen, but yeah, okay, yeah, you want to be a shitball, go right ahead. You ain't going to be a citizen.
Jean-Pierre says, thoughts on right-wing celebrities?
Honestly, where I may agree with their politics, I still don't want them shoving their views down my throat. Because this is the thing. My views are my views. I don't go up to you and say, you know, you're going to vote for the candidate out. I mean, that's the great thing about this country. We live in a republic, and we can still somewhat, you know, expect, you know, the votes to happen and the electoral college to do what we want it to do. And it's a good thing we live in a republic, because I really don't want New York City and LA deciding how everything votes. But I really don't care about celebrities. I mean, you know, yeah, I agree that James Wood and like fucking Clint Eastwood are great guys, and I agree with them politically. But their political opinion holds no more water to me than the next common person.
Mm-hmm.
You missed an opportunity to say the next 6 minutes.
I agree with you.
Well, 6. That would be because I actually know you more than I talk to you. So yeah, your political opinion matters more than a celebrity to me, because I have contact with you.
I want you to vote for my cat, because she is being very noisy right now.
Can cats even run for office? And if it's for school board, I probably would, just for a laugh.
Well, actually, there have been cats that have been voted into office.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, hell, look, Cynthia Nixon got on the ticket.
I think there was a little town out there in West Texas around the Big Bend area. That I think a cat or a goat or something like that got elected mayor or something like that.
Unfortunately, the Mexican family that owned the goat the next week barbecued it.
Cabrito.
Hey, you know what? I'm not complaining about barbecued goat. That shit's actually delicious.
Yeah,
I like goat cheese.
I've had goat a bunch of times. I don't know. It's a little sinewy for me. You know, I guess I must have just got a really tough goat.
Did it really get your goat?
Yeah,
it got your goat. The trick is proper marinating in beer and rum.
It was Indian goat curry. I was at an Indian restaurant when I grabbed it. They had, you know, like it was an all-you-can-eat joint, and they're very tolerant of me, and I give them credit because I'm such. Oh my god, I go in there as such a Westerner. I literally take a plate of the Indian rice, and I just take, okay, let me get some of the yellow, let me get some of the red, let me get some of the green, let me get some of the orange, let me get some of the brown, and I literally just put all the different colors on top of the rice and just dip the naan bread in it. I don't even know what the hell I'm mixing. It just tastes delicious.
Yeah.
It's literally it's like eating something out of like Willy Wonka. It's all these different colors on the plate.
Yeah.
Funnily, funnily enough, your shit is all those different colors when you shit it out loud the next day.
You know what the best part is about Indian food, though? You're eating Indian food, and it's a different type of spice. Like, as an American, you're used to like American barbecue, where if you're eating the spice, within like 2 seconds, you're like, oh my God, my mouth is on fire. Immediately. Indian food doesn't burn your mouth at all. It's delicious. It's pleasant to eat. But then in 2 seconds, you're like, fuck, why am I so hot? And you're sweating your balls off because the spice creeps on you. If you like that, I mean, seriously, I love Indian food in the summertime. You get this huge sweat going, and like afterwards, you hop in a pool, you feel like $1,000,000.
Yep. I
Yeah.
am a big fan of chicken vindaloo.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, God. I wish the Indian joint in my neighborhood didn't get destroyed in a hurricane. I could really go for that all you can eat for $5.
There's a place called India Oven
Mm-hmm.
on, I can tell you where it is in San Antonio. It's on Patricia Drive. It's more on the east side of town, which I don't frequent because that's just not a good idea. But yeah, it's on the east side of town on Patricia Drive. It's called India Oven, and it's fantastic.
It's funny. There's something in my there's a restaurant in my neighborhood. It's actually like a front for the Polish mob. Like I always try to go there, and every time I go there, we are closed. Leave. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't matter what day of the week, what time I go there. Yeah, you guys open? No, we're not open to public right now. Just go home. Okay. You got it, man. I'm not fucking arguing with you.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny. You wouldn't think it. Like, you tell people the Polish mob, and they start laughing their ass off. And I'm like, no, seriously. Like, hey, what's going on, bro?
Not much. I've been coaching people in leagues, so I was like, I can't do it right now because everybody was like, but a little bit late. Hi.
You're the guy that they call Dargon, right?
Yes, I am the Dargon.
Cool. Dargon. I got to remember that.
Dargan.
Dargon? Okay, cool. Well,
I'm
either way,
Token Dargon. I play video games.
Yeah, that's it. I sort of gave my nephew that nickname about, I don't know, 12, 14 something years ago. I don't know. He was a kid. I didn't pronounce it Dargon. I always called him Dargon.
oh, cool.
Well, then I could make a parody of the Sargon song. I'm the motherfucking Dargon.
Yeah. So
look out,
I
Sargon of
streamed with
Akkad.
him on Deviant, and I was like, "Oh, he's cool. Let's bring him in."
Yeah.
Are you going to create a channel called the Dinkery?
The Dinkery. Cute. Oi.
I was just watching a video on the Thinkery just a little while ago. The SJWs apparently didn't like some of the rhetoric from the advertising campaign of this newest Doom.
Yeah. Because they flat out, the creators from Doom started taking pot shots at the SJWs.
I like that. That's some pretty good trolling.
Yeah, they're stealing my shtick, the bastards. It's funny. I was telling Purposeful because he doesn't like to watch Sargon, and neither does Burnside. I haven't talked to Burnside yet, but I just seen, and it was like 2 minutes and like 20 seconds or whatever. It's one of Sargon's videos. It's either on his main channel or it's on the Thinkery, and it's Alex Jones is the Doom guy, and it's the intro to the new Doom. And he took some like different sound bites of Alex Jones ranting about demons. Oh my God, does it sync up perfectly? Like, I was watching it, you really think that this was the script that the guy was saying as he's walking, like through the airlocks and everything. Yeah. Seriously, Six, you got to go watch it. You got. I know your sense of humor. This is right up your alley.
Link me to it.
All right, definitely. I'll do it right now. Just give me a second. I was watching it yesterday. I couldn't stop laughing. All right. So, fuck, I already forgot how to pronounce your name. Oh,
Ash.
That's it, Dargon. What game were you playing?
I was playing League of Legends, teaching some people the basics of minion pressure and like how to like jungle, stuff like that. Because I teach people that are low tier, I teach people that are high tier, and there's people that are better than me that I've coached more than a couple times. Like, hey, why don't you use this item? And then they're like, oh, well, I'll try that. And then they just fucking explode in rank. It's really cool though. Like, but I play League of Legends because it's one of the only games that I enjoy that are skill based, that you don't have to
Pay to win.
You can't pay to win. Yeah, you cannot pay to win. It's purely cosmetic that you're paying for.
Oh, cool.
And I enjoy stuff like that, so that way it's not easy to like exploit like a certain champion or something like that.
I mean, I'd almost say that, like, say, World of Warships, you really can't play to win, because even though the premium ships are unique, they're not really any better than their on tier.
Yeah, that's the same reason why I like Dreadnought on the PlayStation 4.
I have it on the PC, Dreadnought. I mean, yeah, your premium ships are a little different, but they're not any better.
Yeah, like the tier 1 can still take down a tier 5.
Well, my favorite thing is when I run into people that have bought a tier 8 ship and have never played.
Yes.
And they end up running into, and I'm running like a under tiered like tier 7 cruiser, and I just wreck their $50 battleship.
Oh, what's really fun is being the caddies. The ones that have no armor but are fast as fuck and they're small, and they have all their it's mainly on the cannons and like the offensive stuff versus the armor and the like multitude of what you can do.
Yeah, like in World of Warships, I tend to play cruisers and just HE shells and just start a shit ton of fires, because battleships just look better burning to the waterline.
Yeah. Much like in D&D, what's worse than a zombie? A zombie on fire.
100 zombies on fire.
Yep. And a necromage that can control those zombies. Better hope that he's on your side.
Don't even get me started on D&D.
Oh, I love D&D.
I love D&D too. That's one of the reasons I'm so frustrated with it lately.
I love D&D 2nd edition because I think people should have to do math to be able to play it.
I actually like 3.5, so that way if people are wanting Pathfinder or to transition from D&D to Pathfinder and vice versa, 3.5 is a nice addition to manipulate the formula.
But here's the thing. I still have the Dragon magazine in paper that allows you to take your 2nd edition characters and transform them into 3rd edition characters, and then you can transfer a 3rd edition character into a 3.5.
Huh.
It's just, I liked 2nd edition because you had to be able to figure out how to hit armor class 0.
Mm-hmm. I actually, a second edition, I tell people all the time, the homebrew I've been working on, I gotta find my books because I worked on it for years and I can't find the spiral notebook that I put my notes in. But I took a second edition and I shoehorned in some of Dave Anderson's Blackmore and a little bit of Gary Gygax's Chainmail. I added all the extra crunch I could to it, and the reason I did that was I actually started using egg timers, like different ones, like different sand timers, depending, and I integrated in also using like chess timers for like if it was like player versus player, just to keep things interesting. Because one of the things is I love DMing. I fucking hate role players. Like seriously, I mean I have no problem, like, obviously it's a role playing game, but, unfortunately is like I came up like you, second edition, so you didn't have all these fucking people that were armchair thespians. We're playing a game. You're not supposed to be trying to get an Oscar every time it's your turn.
One of the things that I hate is the people that are lawyers with the rules.
Yeah.
I refer to the first page of the DM manual. The DM is God. Shut up.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the reasons I added a timing, time as a mechanic. The faster you get shit done, I said, okay, if you can get this stuff done like in such and such amount of time, everything's doubled. So in other words, these guys stop dragging their ass, forsooth and this and that, okay, just play the fucking game and leave that shit to the guys who actually
for me, like League of Legends, the beauty of it is, to me, it's a numbers game with geometry and trigonometry. Like, it's all numbers to me. It's constant golden come last hits, ratios versus, like, anticipating the movement of another human being. I like it because it's just a giant puzzle to me. Like, most people see the champions. I see a hitbox. I see a little circle that's moving around. I don't see the, like to make it easier to see, like perceive, like I don't see that. I see the programming that involves making that.
I got you. Go
ahead.
No, I was going to say, just to give you an idea of where I'm coming from, one of my favorite games in the past few years. Now, granted, obviously other games have employed it since then. But when it came out, I said, well, this is actually revolutionary in my view, because these are mechanics I would prefer to have in any game I was playing, because it adds a depth of realism to it. And it adds a little bit of extra, it's like a built-in difficulty. And a lot of people, you can have things where you can toggle them. But like when they came out with San Andreas, the fact that the guy needed to rest, he needed to eat, he needed to exercise. He had to keep track of his income. He had all these different, there were all these different variables that, affected gameplay. And a lot of people said to me, well, I don't particularly care for that. My thing was, why? What's the problem with having that extra edge? Where that you have to actually, like a lot of people, that was the thing. Like I'd see they play certain games and they take off the time limit on something. And I'd say, the developer put that in there because the challenge is part of the fun of the conquest of the game. And see, that's the problem is, and that's one of the reasons I think D&D isn't as popular as it used to be. Is we've become a culture where we want to win at all costs, and the point of D&D is the journey, not the conclusion.
It's the story. It's the story. You see, what D&D was inspired by was like the times whenever people were sitting around and telling a story. The person that's telling the story is the DM. He's the one that's got the entire audience on him, and he's telling the story. And then somebody might chime in. Well, what if this guy that you previously mentioned about, what if he does this? And the DM goes, well, he does that. And then it's all about captivating the players. Like the DM likes to tell the story. It's a story. You're wanting to progress and live. You're wanting your character to live for the story. Like, and if the story sucks, well, then you got a shitty DM. Get a better DM.
Yeah.
But don't
You know,
sit
a lot of
there
people
and mention a fucking rule about a goddamn spell and then decide to bring it up after it's been settled, and then you decide to use that same spell, but you're expecting to be sneaky and shit. Like, then no, if you get called out on it, you get fucking called out on it. You're the one who fucking mentioned the rule. You're the one who fucking did that shit. And if you get called out, well, just accept the fact that you got called out and you can't do the spell the way you wanted to. Not everybody's going to be a hero. You're going to get a fucking dagger in your fucking side. You're going to slip, fall, and you might even drown in a fucking, break both of your arms and drown inside of a puddle. It depends on the DM's imagination if you roll a critical one, really.
Yeah.
Like, don't get attached to your characters. Never get attached to your characters.
Yeah. Just really quick to circle back to what Nano had said before, like with second edition, like the same with me, how I came up. I was a Greyhawk, man. The thing with Greyhawk was, and just in general with second edition, I came up in the era of the bipolar DM. What I mean by that, when I say the bipolar DM, was back in the day, it's the same as it is now, where the goal is obviously you want to give the players a good time. You're there as the narrator, the storyteller. Your goal is to throw challenges at the players, but you're not trying to kill them, except when they actually do the dungeon crawl. See, I was of the school where the dungeon master went to the dungeon. That's when the dungeon master is supposed to take off the gloves, and he's going to throw everything he has at you with extreme prejudice. That's the whole point. That's why it's called Dungeons and Dragons. Dungeon is the first part of that. And the dungeon crawl itself is supposed to be the most difficult thing you're going to have to deal with outside of actually dealing with a dragon. So, you were supposed to try to kill your opponents. Now, if you're to this point where they're at the dungeon, they're good enough where they're going to probably walk out of there. Your point is, as a dungeon master, you're supposed to try in the dungeon to defeat these people, and if you're a good dungeon master, you fail. That's the whole point to being a dungeon master when it comes to the dungeon. You're supposed to throw things at these people. You've set them up in the beginning. You've set everything in motion already. And by the time it comes to the dungeon, if they're good enough, they're going to beat your dungeon anyway. But you would set it. I call it a blind dungeon. You make this thing like as unbeatable as possible, and it's like a sealed end until the day you finally get to the dungeon. Because if you do grow attached to them, you fail again. You failed as a dungeon master. The key is the dungeon. That's why I always say do a sealed envelope dungeon. That way it's not affected at all by any affection you've developed towards the group in the months leading up to the dungeon. Just a trick I learned over the years.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I completely agree with you on that, because I've created... There's one little mechanism that I created, and one of mine was mist. And if you weren't touching your ally, then the mist would separate you into an entirely different part of the dungeon, and it would fuck with them because they were map makers.
Yeah,
they liked making maps and then exploiting my dungeons, and my heavy mist made it to where if they weren't touching, like, let's say the mist happens, and then like the ranger knows what the mist is, and he grabs onto the mage. Well, the mage and him are in an entirely different room than the rogue and the other ones.
Well,
and
Sargon,
then
I have to take advantage of your dungeon there for just a second here. I got to jump out, but I just wanted to just mention
Thank you for
that.
coming on, Six.
What's that? Oh, you're welcome. I've got a tea time stream coming up this this Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern, and the subject is love songs.
Love song. I'm not gonna write you a love song, 'cause you asked for it, 'cause you need one. That sounds really interesting, though.
Yeah, it's good. It's there's a twist to it. Anyhow, that's what I got going on. It is now 12 a.m. and well, I'm gonna go sip some tea. So you guys take it easy, and I will see you all sometime in the future.
All right. Well,
All right. Well, it's 12
I'll
a.m.
just hang loose.
So I'm actually gonna call it.
Be good.
So we're gonna start from my left. Vash,
East.
shill your shit.
Oh, yes. I'm Vash the Token Dargan. I play video games, and I'm going to be streaming in a little while, probably about 10, 15 minutes. Everybody's welcome to come in. League of Dargan is my open mic. Like, you can rant about whatever. Like, if Scooby wanted to, he could come over and talk more about D&D. And I do have my staff that love to play D&D, so it'd
very
be
cool.
nice.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Like I said, my League of Dargan, the reason why I have it an open mic is because I get to meet so many interesting people on YouTube that we all like there's times where I'll disagree with some of them, and I'll be like, I still want you around because you have knowledge about this subject. If you're going to one person in particular was an anarchist that I had join, and a lot of people, he rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, and they were like, well, why would you're such a centrist? Why would you have an anarchist over here? And I'm like, well, if I'm going to go and ask about meats, I'm not going to go to somebody that's a gardener. I'm going to go to a butcher, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, to me, if I'm going to go and ask someone about anarchy, I'm obviously going to go to a person that claims to be an anarchist. That's how you learn, right?
Yeah.
And Scientologists are insane.
I agree.
Well, that's because they actually believe in a religion and not a tax fraud or tax shelter.
Yeah.
All right. Next we have Nana Reaper. Didn't you just verify your account?
Yeah, but I don't know.
YouTube?
Well, that was because we weren't sure the juice was going to work because of an error. Hi, I'm Nano Reaper. I was a member of a crack military commando unit that was accused of crimes I did not commit, and sent to military prison where I promptly escaped. If you can find me in the Dallas underground and can afford my rates, you might just be able to hire me. Cue theme song.
Next we have Scoopy331.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? You know the drill. I'm Scooby331. You can follow me here on YouTube. I am on Minds.com, Gab AI, which I've been getting a lot of subscribers the past few days. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to have to actually start using Gab, that means, because people are going to be expecting stuff. And I am on Patreon and PayPal.
Yeah. Wait, you have a Patreon too?
Yeah, I got a Patreon. I have to upload. I don't think I've actually put out any videos in the past 2-3 weeks because I've just actually been busy, and I don't have a camera. So it's whenever I get my hands on a camera, I put out content. So I'm going to probably be going around to a lot of the local places in the next coming month, right before 9/11, and videotaping the different monuments when they get them all ready for the day of, I guess. I might go back in on 9/11 myself and cover it this year. I've been there a few times for when they had the ceremony. It's very sad because girl I sat next to in high school is one of the people who died.
A little known fact: Steve Buscemi. He whenever 9/11 happened, he actually went back to his old job of being a firefighter and didn't mention any of it to anybody. And went through 9/11. He was in like ground zero basically.
Cool. Another fun fact.
He was one of the first responders, and he never mentioned it to anybody about it.
Yeah, he was literally in the middle of doing a film, and he's like, "Gotta go."
Yeah, he was in the middle of a film and stopped everything that he was doing, and he went back to his old job. So props to Steve. I have to, anytime that 9/11's mentioned, I have to mention that because that earned a lot of respect.
Yeah,
well, I mean, also props for his absolute and total humility.
Yes, exactly. Like not saying anything about it, not even so much as a Twitter, nothing.
Also about Steve Buscemi, another fun fact: when he was in college, he used to go every night to a bowling alley over in Valley Stream and try to pick up my mother because she was the bartender there. So more props to Steve Buscemi for having excellent taste.
Oh yeah.
He could have been your daddy.
Thank God he didn't, because I'm not particularly fond of how I look as it is. So.
Hey! Steve Buscemi may have a face like that, but have you seen his kids?
No, I haven't.
I don't know how it happens, but somehow,
He's
just
got
like
some
Mr.
gorgeous fucking
Bean,
kids.
his kids are just fucking awesome. I don't understand that.
It's Sicilians. It's the genes.
But yeah, I mean, I gotta say, I do enjoy Steve Buscemi.
He's
Fucking
a nice guy,
amazing
definitely.
actor.
Yeah, another guy from the neighborhood. Hell yeah.
And I am Tara Sin, your favorite cyber bitch. Please like, subscribe, share. Also, in the description is a GoFundMe link. Our buddy Antihero, I think, is getting kicked out of his place, and he needs a place to go. So go, share it, donate, do what you can. I's a broke bitch, or else I give him money.
Yo, Antihero, if you're seeing it here and this, hit me up, man, because I know a few people got apartments really cheap if you want to relocate to New York.
All right, and so good night, everybody, and don't do anything I would do, which is pretty much anything. Good night.
Good night, all.
Night.